Okay, alright, so with Sandor Clegane, it's on the road again. Okay, alright, you got me, you got me. That is exactly how I started the previous Arya chapter, Arya 10, that is. But yeah, it still applies. Because disappointingly for both travelers, things didn't quite go according to plan. And while we readers are just barely recovering from the shock known and referred to as the Red Wedding, Sandor Clegane, aka the Hound, well, he's got a tougher skin, so he simply shrugged his shoulders and went, "Oh, well, I guess it's back to the drawing board vis-a-vis the plan as to what to do with young wolf pup Arya Stark." But you know what they say, adopt, adapt, and improve, I suppose. Okay, so we finally get to the actual wrap-up of Act 2 in this novel. Allow me to expand on that. Of the various types of structures this book can be analyzed through, the three-act one seems the most suitable kind of. I mean, I'm not the one, the one genius to ever come up with this idea. Like first, you've heard it in a million of other places. Which I personally think I first heard it from the Not a Cast podcast. So numerically speaking, yeah, chapter 27, where Daenerys barbecues the Giscari, what do you call them, the so-called good masters of Astapor. I mean, she barbecues them. She didn't. I mean, she doesn't quite barbecue them herself. She has Drogon do it for her, and it's quite spectacular, actually. I tell you. Well, okay. So that chapter kind of concluded Act 1 in a blaze of glory, literally. So Daenerys 3. And when we finished reading the previous chapter 51, seventh and final Catelyn POV chapter, I sort of said that chapter unmistakably concluded Act 2, but really, before we move on to the rest of Westeros, and see how everyone is coping and dealing with the fallout from the Red Wedding, there still remains one final wrap-up chapter for Act 2, and that's the Red Wedding from Arya's perspective, this very chapter. I mean, we spent practically every single Arya chapter watching her trying to get back to her family since she left Harrenhal, arguably since she left King's Landing. So we can't just not tie this loose end, can we? And then we can comfortably move on to Act 3, which really we might consider like a huge preamble to the even huger novel known as Feast Dance. But I do realize that this latter structure is a bit more controversial, so do feel free, dear listener, to say I'm full of shit. And no, even a child can see that really A Storm of Swords has a clear-cut 5-act structure, and so on and so forth. You know, if you have good arguments, I'm open to anything and everything. All sorts of interpretations and wacky theories, all welcome here. However, yeah, the rest of the novel is about other characters dealing with the aftermath of this event. That's pretty much, the rest of Storm of Swords, and they all deal with it in their own way, and it's kind of like the Red Comet at the beginning of Clash of Kings. Everyone will be making the whole thing exclusively about themselves. Like Tyrion here, whose reaction to the Red Wedding will be something like, "Oh, great. Now that my marital relationship with Sansa was going so well, right?" Or, yeah, that's how it affects Tyrion, and never mind Sansa. I mean, for God's sake. Stannis too, he's bound to think, wow, so there is something to that leech magic type thing. Oh, what do you know? I don't think these predictions kind of count as spoilers, right? I mean, it doesn't take a genius to predict these reactions, I say. But yeah. But where are my manners? Welcome, gentle listener, to the rambling commentaries of an insane person online. We read a Song of Ice and Fire right here, and paragraph by paragraph for the fun of it. And right now we are sinking our teeth into chapter 52, Arya 11, from A Storm of Swords. There. Shall we? So, we left Arya and the Hound. I love that, by the way. Arya and the Hound. Kind of like the title of one of those 80s Disney cartoons, you know, where a strangely assorted couple of characters begrudgingly accept to travel some of the way together, and they will learn something along the way. Anyway, so we left Arya and the Hound at the outside rave, you know, that kind of outdoors party. Although, to be fair, with circus tents and all that, it feels more like an October kind of Oktoberfest sort of vibe, you know. So the music would be something more like I don't know what the music. I've never been to an Oktoberfest, I must confess. But yeah, so they were circling around and round, looking for an opportunity to sneak into the actual castle, where the feast for highborn guests was in full swing. And then, well, I don't actually know what then, because how exactly did the Hound plan to get admittance to the wedding feast without an invite, and then somehow get an audience with either Catelyn or Robb Stark and go, I don't know, oh, hi, hello, remember me? You might remember me as the guy on the payroll of your mortal enemies, the Lannisters. Those guys who sentenced the late Eddard Stark to death, remember? Yeah, no, but I'm a changed man now. Yeah, nothing but good deeds these days. In fact, so, yeah, apropos of that, I happen to have Arya right here. That's right, I've kidnapped her from a band of outlaws. Long story. So, yeah, can I have some gold for her? Ransom, I suppose, if you must stick a label to it. That would have been the scenario. Did the Hound really think that it was going to go as smoothly as that? I don't know. So then again, let's not forget that the feast he must have predicted would be filled with people, you know, armed to their hilt, to their teeth. If for no better reason, because a high-profile guest was in the castle, you know, the king in the north. So how did he think that they were not simply disarm him and snatch Arya off him, unless he was planning to, and that is, yeah, it's a kind of like a likely scenario when you think about it. He was planning to, push a blade on Arya's throat and say, okay, either you throw me a bag of gold and then I somehow very awkwardly pick it up while still holding a knife to Arya's throat, or the wolf pup dies. Still, you see, I don't think he worked all the details. He really thought it through quite that thoroughly, I don't think. Mr. Clegane. Anyway, okay, so that's when Arya sees, they see that they're still circling around the party, the rave, when Arya sees that they're actually lifting the portcullis. So, hey, the castle is open. Dude, the castle is open, man. But Sandor spots something else, and the scene turns into something out of a Schwarzenegger movie, because he goes, get down! And he pushes her off the Wayne wagon type thing that they're riding, which sends her down on the ground, facing the mud, and before she even has the chance to yell to him, well, I never. That was a bit uncalled for, my good sir. She sees what he was going for, hidden right under Arya's seat. His sword. Because a whole bunch of swordsmen on horses are now pouring out of the castle. Yeah. And the verb pouring is totally appropriate, because George R. Martin here describes the battalion as a river of steel and fire, because men and mounts are wearing plate armor, and 1 in every 10 is carrying a torch. The rest has axes, long axes with spiked heads and heavy bone-crushing armor, smashing blades. Yeah, that's pure fantasy, combat, sword, sorcery type thing at its best. But yeah, I don't know. But that's not quite the sight you would expect at a wedding feast, though. Unless it's part of the entertainment. Hi, we are the comic relief. Hello. We have a stand-up routine here involving long axes with spiked heads. Yeah, don't ask. All right. Anyway, so and all of that on the strange background, while all of that is happening on a strange auditory, acoustic background noise of a wolf howling, which we know now is Grey Wind. Werewolf, their castle. Sorry. So I couldn't help myself. However, do award yourself 5 points if you spotted that quote. Anyway, by the time Arya turns around, she realizes that out of the 3-party tents, only 2 are still standing. Yeah, well, that's the thing, with POV chapters. Some events you don't directly see happen, as they unfold in real time. So Arya didn't see the first tent collapse. What went down here? Apart from the tent? That sure is a head-scratcher. There used to be 3 tents and now 2? Oh, surely are my eyes deceiving me? But you ain't seen nothing yet, Arya, because now the collapsed tent is ablaze because it's been hit by a dozen flaming arrows, and now the other 2 tents implode as well. And sure enough, they're also set on fire. Good job they didn't stop at one of those tents for a bite of mutton or whatever, like Arya was begging Sandor to do in her previous chapter. Because right now, those people under the flaming tents are dying a horrible death. So no, you should stay away from those tents, especially now. And the riders, all those riders, the riders of steel and fire, river of steel and fire. Meanwhile, they're still marching on, and it now looks like open battle. And interestingly, the cue for this open battle is a song that, for a change, musicians in both castles are now playing in unison. And Arya recognizes the song because remember when Tomo 7 sang his whole repertoire from the Songs for a Rainy Day songbook in Arya 7, this same book here? A whole repertoire that gets instantly sent everyone rushing to the toilet in a desperate need to take a pee. Because listen up, okay, I got it right here. Here's the repertoire: The Mother's Tears, When Willem's Wife Was Wet, www. Lord Hart Rode Out on a Rainy Day, sure enough, and then The Rains of Castamere. So yeah, it's the Rains of Castamere that the musicians are playing now. Well, we know all about it from the previous chapter, which is also the last Catelyn POV chapter, Catelyn 7, Storm of Swords, chapter 52. And now the scene turns a bit because 3 of those riders detach themselves from the marching column and ride towards the wagon. I still don't really know exactly all the details of what how a wain is different from a wagon, whatever. Now, so yeah, 3 riders are now coming towards them, and that cannot be good. No. So Clegane immediately unties Stranger, the horse, in case you don't remember, and hops on it, sword in hand, charging like crazy towards the 3 riders. And Arya somehow finds herself with a huge rock in her hand, which is kind of like her usual modus operandi whenever she tries to kill the hound. But now she's uncertain as to what to do exactly. Do I throw the rock at him, as per usual policy, or do I throw it at the riders? Things are so confusing. So there he is, the hound, battling those 3 guys, when one of them actually decides to come towards her. So now Arya knows exactly what to do with that rock, but so she flings it, and in his usual style, George R. Martin gives a setup with no payoff, or rather with an anticlimactic payoff, because she throws the rock at the Frey rider, but barely hit his helm. No great damage there, not even a dent in the helm. So they start circling the Wain for a bit. Arya fleeing, the rider pursuing it, pursuing her, and I can't help picturing the whole scene, sped up in my mind, with the Benny Hill theme playing, and then off they get. So the rider is all like, oh, you can't ride for, but sadly he can't finish the sentence because Sandor buries an axe in his skull. Yeah, that's Sandor Clegane's idea of punctuation in an unfinished sentence, which is a pity, really, because Arya would really like to know what the guy was going to say. Run? You cannot run for what? Run for cover? Run for my life? Run forever? And where did the hound get an axe from, anyway? But she understands right away, because she notices that Sandor's sword shattered in the combat. Half of it is still stuck in a dead guy's throat. So he grabbed the first weapon he could find. See, the man is resourceful. He's efficient, an efficient killing machine. Commando there. The Arnold Schwarzenegger analogy stretches here. Even when he goes, pass me the helm, pass me my helm. Okay, I don't do a very good Arnie impression, I'll admit. But so he grabs the helm, dons it, and it's a steel dog's head, remember. Because Clegane is the dog, being the Clegane's mascot, shall we say. And what about Robb? And here too, Sandor Clegane, because the Arya's thinking, what about Robb? I mean, Robb is inside the castle. What the hell's going on? But here, Sandor Clegane shows his military strategy expertise, and I don't mean that sarcastically, because what he says to Arya shows that what he has seen here has given him enough, all he needed to assess the situation, figure everything out, but almost everything. He's thinking, okay, whatever the Freys are up to, one thing is clear. They're killing Robb's men for whatever reason. And on that premise, it's very likely that they've killed Robb as well. I don't know about the politics behind this whole thing, and I don't honestly care. But we're getting the seven hells out of here, because clearly our purpose here is, shall we say, not applicable anymore. So Arya, he extends his hand to Arya. Come with me if you want to live. Seriously, now that I've chosen to go down on this Schwarzenegger path, I seem to be stuck in it. But he does say, come with me. So yeah, not my fault entirely. Meanwhile, it's a massacre all around them. I mean, now the barracks tents are also burning, and 100 silk pavilions, and someone is even flinging oil barrels at the tents, with a catapult from the top of the castle. So, yeah, all of this is by design, But Arya at this point is determined to try her luck, Maybe we can still save my mother, and I've come this far, and maybe we can try to sneak inside now that no one is looking, busy as they are, casually hacking each other to pieces. We can totally sneak in, huh? At this point, by the way, the music has stopped, and the only thing we can hear is the drum, pum, 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 pounding, which, if you remember the previous chapter, is when old Walder is addressing Robb and Catelyn, who are still very much alive, well, maybe not very much, alive for a couple more minutes. And Cat is just about to press a blade against the throat of poor Aegon Frey, stage name Jingle Bells. So yeah, if we want to be really picky, Sandor Clegane is technically wrong on that account. Robb and Catelyn are alive for the time being. Yeah, but yeah, still no chance of entering the castle and rescuing them at this point. I mean, there's a limit to Sandor's Schwarzenegger factor. He's not going to blow everyone to smithereens with a with a one-liner, haha, you've had too much, you had to blow off some steam. I don't know, some one-liner from Commando. Yeah, no, he's not gonna do that. No. He wants to live. I'm still young and beautiful. Too young and beautiful to die, Sandor is thinking. But it's for you, if you want to go. At this point, he's like, oh yeah, whatever, do what you want. If you really want to go into the castle and become mincemeat, courtesy of those Frey hitmen, then be my guest, See how much I care, after all I've done for you. But Arya calls his bluff, wriggles out of his grip and runs towards the castle. At which point, Sandor is all like, oh, no, you don't, and gallops after her. Yeah, that's the sound, noise, hoops. I mean, it's Stranger who gallops. Sandor is just riding after Arya. Okay, all right, okay. He's running after her, long axe in hand. And it kind of becomes a race against time because the portcullis is slowly closing again. And in a typical George R. Martin-esque anticlimax, bang, the Hound knocks Arya unconscious with the back of the axe. On her head. Bang, just like that. Which, I mean, it's really not that simple, actually, in real life. I mean, only in films and literature is it that easy to knock someone unconscious by simply hitting them on the head. I don't know if you've ever tried. Actually, if you have tried, dear listener, I'm not sure I want to meet you. Yeah, I tried it on my little brother. We were kids, like, stay be still. And no, did that? No, no, maybe this. No, okay. So, but no, no, and now maybe you're thinking that I have tried, which no, I haven't. But no, I've only heard or read about this trope having been debunked on, I want to say, Mythbusters or maybe Jackass. I don't remember, honestly. But yeah, and since, well, I mean, what's the point of, lingering here in this episode of this podcast type thing, since the POV, the point of view character, has been knocked unconscious. So clearly, there's there's no more story left to tell. Much like in the previous chapter, where the POV character gets killed. Therefore, there's no more story to tell from her POV. So, a very long and tortuous way to simply say that. Thus, my dear listener, concludes Arya 11, chapter 52. And we have, as I said, wrapped up the first two acts of A Storm of Swords. Now I look forward to getting into the, all of the aftermath and the consequences and the things that the plants that will grow from the seeds that Georgie boy has been planting. Him being the gardener type of writer, as he likes to describe himself. So yeah, with this I leave you, dear listener, and if you like this sort of content, don't forget to do all of those things that people do under such circumstances, and I look forward to speaking to you again. Ciao.